Viewer discretion will be advised for this video. This video will discuss some child sexual abuse and legislation involving crimes against children. There is a group currently going around Butte County sending a very direct message, controversial to some, but I think it's a powerful statement and it's an effective statement that dead pedophiles don't reoffend. And I want to add to this message. I'm going to say something that I don't think should be controversial. Should be controversial in our state or across this country. Protecting children should come before protecting any predators. No matter whether you're a Democrat, Republican, an independent, or anywhere on the aisle, somewhere in the middle, I believe every conversation about these laws should be simple with one simple question. Do these laws better protect children? Because if the answer is no, what are we even doing? Over the past several years, California has debated numerous bills involving sex offender registration, sentencing, and even whether registered sex offenders should be allowed to be able to do things like hold a public office seat. In 2020, Senate Bill 145 changed California law by giving judges the discretion over sex offender registration in certain cases between a minor and an adult who is no more than 10 years of age. Supporters have argued it corrected unequal treatment in the law, while critics believed it reduced mandatory registration in some of these cases. Then California transitioned to a three-tiered registration system under Senate Bill 384. Instead of lifetime registration for every offender, the law created different registration tiers, allowing some offenders to petition to come off the registry after 10 or 20 years, while others remain registered for life. Let me tell you why this matters so much to me. It's not just about registration laws or who can hold public office. It's also about whether people convicted of horrific crimes against children should ever be released back into our communities where our children are. California's elderly parole law has become one of the most controversial criminal justice issues in the state and around the country. Under current law, many inmates become eligible for an elderly parole hearing once they are at least 50 years old and have served at least 20 consecutive years in prison. Being eligible doesn't guarantee release, but it does mean the Board of Parole hearings can consider whether they should be paroled. So two cases shocked Californians and really stood out to me. That's David Funston, who was convicted in 1999 after kidnapping and sexually assaulting multiple children in the Sacramento area. Prosecutors said that his victims ranged anywhere from 3 to 7 years old. Despite receiving multiple life sentences, he was later found suitable for parole under California's elderly parole process after serving more than 2 decades in prison. His planned release sparked big outrage from victims, law enforcement, and elected officials. And before he was released, he was transferred to local authorities to face additional criminal charges for earlier investigations, and he does remain in custody. Then there was Gregory Vogelsang. Vogelsang was convicted in 1999 of kidnapping and sexually abusing multiple boys between the ages of 5 and 11 and was sentenced to 355 years to life in prison. After becoming eligible through the elderly parole program, he too was initially found suitable for parole and released to the public. Following significant public opposition and further review, the parole process was rescinded and he remains behind bars. And that's where I have a hard time. I don't care if someone is 50, 60, 70, or even 80 years old. If you kidnapped and repeatedly sexually abused young children, I don't believe your age should suddenly become a reason that society starts looking for a way to release you back into the public. I don't believe holding public office is a right after you've preyed upon children. I don't believe getting removed from the sex offender registry should be viewed as something that you've earned. And I don't believe that we should be creating exceptions that make life easier for people who committed some of these most heinous crimes imaginable against innocent children. If anything, I believe those who sexually exploit children should face greater accountability, not less, because protecting children should always come before protecting predators every single time. Now, in 2023, Senate Bill 14 strengthened California law by making the trafficking of a minor a serious felony under the Three Strikes Law. Then in 2025, Senate Bill 680 closed a loophole that had allowed some adults convicted in certain cases involving minors to avoid mandatory sex offender registry. These are some examples of lawmakers identifying weaknesses in the law and choosing to strengthen those protections. Then we get to 2026, and that's Assembly Bill 2753, which proposed prohibiting registered sex offenders from running or holding state or local public office. The bill passed the Assembly unanimously, but ultimately failed to advance in the Senate after committee members raised concerns about its scope and whether it should apply to all registrants or only certain tiers. And this is what I keep asking myself is why are we debating whether someone who has been required to register as a sex offender should be able to hold a position of public trust? Public office isn't entitlement, it's a privilege. And with the privilege comes enormous responsibility upon us. But my position is simple. If somebody chooses to sexually abuse a child, they should choose to give up all of their privileges. I believe protecting our children should outweigh protecting the future opportunities of child predators. I believe consequences should reflect the seriousness of these crimes. I believe that every single bill involving crimes against children should be judged by one standard. Does this make children safer? Because if we're ever forced to choose between giving another chance to a convicted child predator or giving another child the chance to grow up safely, I will choose protecting children every single time.